My name is Hassan Rizvi, and today we're here outside of Independent Grocers, and we're about to go inside and go on a full supermarket tour of the grocery store. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of factors that affect consumers on a day-to-day basis when they go grocery shopping that we often don't think about. They're very simple concepts, but a lot of the time it flies right over our head. Just one thing to keep in mind before we go inside: although Independent Grocers looks completely different than, say, Freshco or No Frills or some of the other major retailers like Loblaws, for example, you'd be surprised how similar it looks on the inside, and there's a reason for that, which we'll get into later. But for now, let's go on inside. So before we go inside, something to consider is the grocery shopping carts that they have outside of here. If you come closer, we can check it out. Basically, one of the strategies that grocery stores use is they use a really deep barrel down there so that consumers, when they're grocery shopping, they can fill their carts up with as much as they want to. On top of that, it kind of promotes over shopping because of the fact that it's so deep that if you put one small or two small products inside of there, it'll look like it's not as much. So consumers are forced to buy more to fill up the trolleys and make it look like it's more without them even realizing it. Come on inside. Another thing to consider is they have coupons and they have discount codes all on the inside before you go inside for more price-sensitive consumers to feel a little bit better on what their purchases. As you can see, we're here in the cereal section, which was way over from when we walked in. As you saw, we walked through pretty much the entire store, and as you can see right down there, you can see that it's the milk section and dairy section over there. Now, if you were to come here just to get a bag of milk, you would have to walk all the way through the store just to get the milk, rather than walking right to the front, getting it, and going straight to the cashier. There's a strategy behind that grocery stores often use, and it's basically to create impulse shopping. So as you're coming to get your milk, you'll see right beside it the cereal section, and then while you're walking through the cereal section, you may see tea on the wall, you may see something else. On the next aisle, you'll see peanut butter, you'll see chips, you'll see all sorts of things. And it promotes impulse buying when you have disposable income and you have time on your hands. As you're walking through, it promotes filling up that shopping cart, as we spoke about earlier. So back to cereal. As you can see, there's tons of brands of cereal located all over the wall, all the way down the aisle. But something interesting to consider is that the cereal market in most Canadian grocery stores is controlled by two major players. The first is General Mills, as you can see, that creates and produces a lot of these brands that we know, childhood brands and brands that we grow up seeing on a regular basis, that include Cheerios, for example, or Lucky Charms, or Reese's Puffs. And if you look on your cereal boxes at home, I'm sure you'll find plenty of General Mills. The second brand, if it's not General Mills, happens to be Kellogg's. And Kellogg's owns a lot of brands like Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, and a bunch of others. So as you can see, Kellogg's and General Mills tend to own pretty much the entire market of cereal in grocery sections. They also own a lot of other products that are available throughout the grocery store, but they're best known for their cereal items that they have. Now, another thing that consumers tend to gravitate towards are bright colors. As you can see, there's greens, there's reds, there's oranges, and there's whites. Products like Honey Nut Cheerios has 3 different products side by side, all decorated differently, even though they're similar products with a tiny little bit of a difference in taste. Now, another thing to keep in mind is the higher brand products are in this section of the aisle, which is closest to the milk, like I spoke about earlier. That is because these huge companies like General Mills and Kellogg's pay what's called slotting fees. Slotting fees are amounts that they pay to get their product on the shelf in a strategic position. The best real estate for an item in a grocery store is the middle section, which is in line with the eyes of the consumers. So anything within this proximity will be the best place that companies will pay to get their products in the shelves of grocery stores. Now, companies are known to pay up to $30,000 for just one product that they're advertising at a time. So for example, General Mills may pay $30,000 just for this product of Honey Nut Cheerios to fill this section of the aisle. And by doing so, they're able to gain a huge market share. Now, like I spoke about with colors, another factor that plays in are these sale tags. Sale tags are located all throughout the aisle. and they're in such bright colors to attract the eyes of customers who otherwise may overlook them. And customers are always looking for great deals, especially with items that they are more price sensitive to, which tends to be stuff that they buy on a regular basis, because consumers will notice those small changes, and the small changes will add up over time. Americans are said to eat with their eyes as opposed to with their mouths, and that's one of the reasons why there's bright colors everywhere, like I spoke about. And by doing that, products are more attractive to consumers, and they tend to gravitate towards things that are brighter in color as opposed to dull ones. So for example, someone would probably gravitate towards Honey Nut Cheerios or normal Cheerios as opposed to multigrain Cheerios if they were completely insensitive to the type of flavor and the type of texture that it is, and they were just trying to buy a cereal that they think may be interesting because of the fact that it draws your attention towards it and doesn't drown you out by the dull color. One of the things that I spoke about initially, right at the beginning, was that although independent grocers appears to look different on the outside, when you come inside, it is pretty similar to a lot of stores like Metro or Loblaws, just at a lower capacity because of its size. And that's because they're all owned by the same company, which is called George Weston Limited, and draws in about $29 billion a year just in grocery sales. So that's why a lot of the grocery stores that you go to that you may perceive higher quality are selling the exact same goods from the exact same manufacturers and the exact same retailers. For example, produce, which you may think is better quality at Loblaws as opposed to independent grocers, is generally the exact same produce from the exact same factories or farms, and it's coming to the same consumers that can shop at either store. But at the end of the day, George Weston Limited is profiting off of that. So I hope you learned something today about the many strategies that grocery stores implement on their consumers that a lot of the time we don't realize. But now I hope you're a little bit more conscious and you can implement these strategies next time you go grocery shopping. Thank you.